don't know why I need to know, but what I'm feeling now is like a mystery to me. The sky is falling and I'm wondering why. So many days and nights have passed me by without you standing here. There's nothing left for me to see. Forever comes and forever goes, but where it stops I'll never know. Stay a little while, there's nowhere we have to be. Cause I don't need to know right now. There's no one left beside me anyhow. Stay a little while, there's no one meant for you but me. Oh yeah. Sometimes I wish that I could fly away when the night is cold and I don't want to stay. I need to understand the mystery is clear. So stay a while and hold out your hand. I do believe, I believe that soon I'll understand the way you're moving me. There's nothing left for me to fear. Forever comes and forever goes, but where it stops I'll never know, never know. But stay a little while, there's nowhere we have to be. Cause I don't need to know right now. There's no one left beside me anyhow. Stay a little while, there's no one meant for you but me. There's no one, no one. Oh, 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 yeah. I don't know how you move me so. I don't know why I need to know, but what I'm feeling now is like a mystery to me. Stay a little while, there's no one meant for you but me.
Good morning. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. I am Debbie G. Time for a Cuppa Grata with a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality. Today, I welcome back Nicole Marie Campbell, and it's going to be a fun conversation that you don't want to miss. We're going to be getting into all kinds of things about, well, relating and communication and lying. And why do people lie? It's such a thing. You ever been in a relationship before and been lied to? I have. I've actually also been the person in the relationship doing the lying. So I've been on both sides of the fence, and I'm sure y'all have too. And there's a lot of different reasons for this, and we're going to explore those. I want to give a huge shout out and a big thank you to the wonderful James Twyman. That was a song that he released not too long ago. I had him on Spirituality Gone Wild, right here on Cuppa Grata. And today is all about a cup of gratitude and how that you can be grateful in your life as well. So while we are thinking about who we're grateful for, I'm going to bring on my gratitude of the moment, and that would be Nicole.
Hi, Debbie. I'm so excited to be here today, my second show. And we did some prep and I did some background stuff. So I'm happy about that. I'm really excited because I didn't know, but it was worth the work.
I love that, and it looks really great. I'm digging it. Okay, you guys, this is everybody coming on. If you have any questions, go ahead and type it. And the artwork that you see in the screen behind her is for sale. Just thought I'd
It
mention
is.
that.
And I actually
Just
have just my website just went up again, designingartist.com. So I'll be rebuilding and also designing artists. My face page is a great way to get a hold of me. So yeah.
I love it. Okay, so let's get into it. So Nicole, recently
Yeah.
I had a super interesting experience, which I love the emotional spiral. It was like zip and then zip. And here's
Hmm.
here. Okay, so I had this premonition that somebody was full of crap. Yeah. And here's how it went, dude. Like I literally was sitting there going, okay, we're intuitive, and I'm going to just say that anybody who's ever been around somebody who's really doing their work, who's tapped in, turned on, and ready to rock and roll, it's probably not the person you want to fib to about anything ever. Because what happens is, I don't know about you, I get imprints, I get shown things, and I have learned to trust what I'm seeing.
Hmm.
Well, I did. And I thought to myself, huh, and I tried to ignore it. But then something came over me. I'm like, no, I'm not going to just ignore it. I'm not going to go back into an old pattern that I'm just, no, something's not right. And I'm going to
Hmm.
handle it. And it's not me being crazy. Because you see, back in the past, Nicole, if I, way back in the day, with my ex, like if I had said, oh, you're lying, or if I felt that there was a lie, or blah, 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 I would
Mm.
get told I'm crazy.
Right. Yeah.
That's freaking
Gaslighting.
good,
Yeah.
damn good and well. Yeah, total. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So this time I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not only am I not crazy, but I'm going to handle it. Like I know what's up. So I did.
Mhm.
And sure enough, that moment where, you really do in my humanness, and I don't know about your humanness, but in my humanness, I wanted to be wrong, of course, because nobody likes to be lied to.
Mhm.
E- Even if Even if and in this particular case, I was on point about all of it, so it's actually a little bit more serious than serious in the respect of the consequences could have been
Mhm.
the end
Yeah.
of the end of our friendship.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
And that
yeah,
ending and why and like where are you? Why are you karmatically spiraling? So you're aware. I'm aware. I'm alert and aware to presences and issues within people's lives, and very much so entangled in things that come up for me, like my head injury. 4 days of absolute pain, which I took some prescribed medication, which just worsened my mood. So then I didn't feel like part of my body. I felt dissociative. I felt unloving towards myself and other people. I didn't feel like communicating. And then I was going to work trying to hold it together, be like, okay,
yeah,
whatever. Like, I'm liked here. It's okay. I'm having a bad day, whatever. I'll talk about my painting on the wall, or I'll inspire my boss, or I'll do something to get out of my stuff. In the end, though, it was like a violent kind of experience for me. And I think that the opioid is not my friend. And I've known that all along. And I've always been more to like CBD or THC for it. It just wasn't working. It wasn't, you know. So today's
Mhm.
response I brought in was about activation of stress responses and why on earth do I need to be going through this? Like, why am I going through this? Why am I upset now? Why am I crying? Why am I angry? Why is this person pissing me off to the point that I'm just like, I don't want you around, right? And I sense something unhealthy is going on.
Yep.
So, the center of our neuroplasticity, or what we're supposed to be basically as humans doing, is feeling safe and well, right? That's just the
Yep.
cornerstone of being here. We need, in order to facilitate our own growth, um, physically, mentally, and spiritually, emotionally, we're striving and stoking the fire for wellness. And wellness is its industry.
Mhm.
It's a massive $50 billion industry at that. So good. And it's kudos to us because we're in this prime time where many people are really seeking out their well-being. So it's amazing, right? Not everybody sees it as being as important as you do, which is what my frustrations have been spurring from, is they just don't have a care about that next level or that next step. And you're like, there's a whole other level of existence happening out here.
Okay, so you're bringing something to the up, and this is let's talk about that
Okay.
because what I'm hearing you say is that we have our reactive states, we have our trigger points
Hmm.
that we react from, and our neuroplasticity gets stuck there. But if you're doing your work,
Yeah.
I know where I'm at on a spiral.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, I also was able to keep without losing my. I actually did
Ooh.
get pissed, but it was later. But yeah, oh no, I did get mad. Don't think for a minute that at some point I didn't get pissed.
What's
But I
wrong
got
with that? I mean, like, come on, we're all human. And if
nothing,
I need to get
nothing,
angry,
nothing. But here's the deal. What happens when you take someone like us and you're dating somebody
yeah,
who is not doing their work?
yeah.
Big Well, first off, you know that you're manifesting some shit. I don't care what
Oh,
if you're going to start working, if you're going to start dealing with somebody who isn't willing to step forward and do their work, y'all know this is going to probably not work out to what you want it to work out as.
well, and I
I
think that's
mean,
an expectation too, Debbie. I think what I'm seeing here as I'm pulling this
total.
apart is in our relationship, our expectation is going towards their reactions, their interactions, um,
Uh-huh.
right? And so it's actually, I concluded through my observation, it's actually where we don't want to go within ourselves. So yes, we have the,
Always.
we have the healing capacity and we have understanding, and we're fifth dimensional and we understand and we love, and if we could hold you ourselves we probably would. But that's where I'm kind of being inspired, because I'm like, you know what, like, I can't do this for you. And this is where I am right now. This is where
Yeah.
I am. This is my
Yeah.
life,
Yeah, yeah. Totally.
right? And so I
And
think empathically we
right.
get stuck on that scale, and being
Or
called
you see
upon.
it's the old thing shit, dude. Like you see it's the old shit and the old paradigm of seeing
Mhm,
great. And okay, look, we see people for them. We see people beyond
mhm,
the scope of the humanness. We see
mhm,
their spirit, their soul, the spark of the divine that they are. And
mhm.
with
Yeah.
with that, because of that, I think that in all cases, it's sometimes difficult for me, I see, to separate their human choices from the heart that I know that they've got. So
Mm,
but I have a lot of compassion. I have a lot of compassion for myself, for
okay.
for the willingness. See that I get to go through. I feel like this happened so that I was able to look at my own shadow,
Oh, great.
my own shadow of codependency, my
Yeah.
old shadow
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
old behavior patterns
Mhm.
that were still stuck in there that
Yeah.
needed to
So
come
thank
out.
you. Yeah. So there's a thank you, there's a gratitude in that too. And I
Yeah.
think in my mind's eye, as I'm seeing this grow, it would be really intriguing to the other person that they, when seeing you in your light, they were able to handle it. So like
Right.
I'm hearing from myself, what are you letting hold you back from your light? And I really feel it's in here. And I think with the understanding that I'm bringing to the table today, that when we're in here and we're negating back and forth negative, positive thoughts about ourselves or life, anything, we are just transmitting that again. So getting off the train of where I was is not easy. I'm Cancerian, and the past, I look at it and I'm just like, like I freaking hate the past, you know. And I'm soft on the inside, but then I got to pull up this hard shell and be like, you know what? Fucking leave me alone. Just I'm gonna do 5-10 days alone, and I'll come out with 3 paintings and I'll write maybe a book for where I'm at now. So I think it's honoring your development in the space you are to create the individual you are because you are already creating it.
I love that. I'm going to say good morning to Elaine and Molenbeek. My God, it's been a minute since I've seen you. Hi, beautiful. It's so
Uh,
nice to see you on here. I want to bring up this here. It says if you called someone in to reflect that back to you, it could be that it was just a lesson that needed an ending of a program in yourself that you wanted to make
yeah,
peace with and bring it into love.
that
And
was great.
I
Amen.
love it. So
Praise the
I
Lord.
love that. Elaine, you killed it. You killed it. I'm gonna actually give you a full screen for a minute, and I will be right back. So go ahead and talk to everybody about the neuroplasticity, and I will be back in
Okay. Hi, everyone. So I'm going to continue on and talk about stress-based reactions. And so our inner focus is always being challenged, what we're inwardly trying to achieve and then bring out into the world by our response systems that are making way to what's happening around us, whether we realize it or not. So we create through our observation and manifest based on having observation that isn't exactly at times what we feel working for us. So it ends up becoming a lesson or a state of disillusionment where we're not really on the vibe we want to be, and that usually has something to do about something that's triggered from our past or present, and stress-based reactions coming from our body and mind and our ability to perceive become emotional, fight or flight, or which is fight or flight is just lovely. I love being there. I don't
well,
know about you, like.
well, that's fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. Fight, flight,
Yeah,
fawn, or freeze.
and then the
So
emotions
those
that
are
go with those too. Yeah.
yeah, but those are all fight, fawn, or freeze. The four F's that we do are our ego protecting us.
Oh,
Protecting
yeah.
us because that they think that our ego is like, oh, I see
Oh,
danger, so I'm going to protect you and everything's going to be okay. So we
yeah.
retreat into that, whatever that might look like. You know,
Mm,
I do all of them. I don't
mm.
have one or the other. I do them all. You know, I'm just like, oh, flight.
Oh,
Oh,
this
I
is
can do.
great.
We do flight. I
Yeah.
do fight. Oh, you know, my 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 default was that. And
Mm.
what I've done is I've looked at thank you, ego, thank you, the
Oh,
myself
for saving
for
myself,
protecting
but it's
for saving
aggravating you.
myself. Yeah, as a matter of fact, when we get in this mode, see, one of the things is that when we get into a mode like that, you have two choices, everyone. You're either going to go into
Mhm.
victim with your story,
Right.
which is your old programming, or you're going to recognize your story
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I
and
heard that too in the bathtub yesterday. I felt it.
yeah, or exactly, and you're going to have a choice, and everything in life is a choice and a decision to make. You
Hmm.
know, when we make our decision, which way we're going to go down this path this
Hmm.
time, I'm facing this issue. It's not unsimilar from other issues I have faced in the past. And then
Mm.
now this time I'm looking at the trigger itself. So this time I looked at the trigger and I said to it, is what I'm seeing factual, actual, and in the reality that I'm currently experiencing, or is it
Right.
mixed? Is it mixed with
Every time.
since
Every
centuries?
time, man. Ugh.
Right,
Oh,
it's
just like
mixed.
I feel you with us. Like
Right, you've got
every part of me is
centuries.
just like, "Ugh, this is the truth." The truth is we're feeling intuitively, depending on, I think, our channel, our clearing of our channel and awakening of our channel. That's what I keep getting. Because yesterday I was in the
Mhm.
woods and I was asking in my channel by a waterfall that I came upon. And oh, like it's just like, I'm ready, I'm ready. Like I'm just going to, even before I came in this room, I was hearing too. So I think it is as well, maybe a mission on that relationship, as your friend had spoken about, that, okay, we can clear this. But what happens when I'm still angry? Hmm.
Well, I love the anger. Anger is you again, it's meeting your precious needs. See, we're
Mm,
all I love Marshall Rosenberg's work, and if anybody's
mm,
curious about communication,
mm.
nonviolent communication or compassionate communicating, Marshall's work is extraordinary.
Oh, nonviolent, nice. Yeah.
And anger is anger is at least above depression.
Yeah.
You
At
know,
least you're not feeling helpless now.
you're feeling something. You're feeling something. But again, the anger is simply to meeting the chemical, because you see the anger releases chemicals in your
Oh,
body. It's
yeah,
all
the
your
cortisols, yeah, yeah. It's not the
all of it. And
dopamine. Yeah.
no, it's not the dopamine, but we get confused with it. We get
Mm-hmm.
confused with the 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 way that our body is responding to stuff. And
Oh my
this is
God.
but also we have generational years of trauma passed down from generation to
Mm-hmm.
generation, from
Mm-hmm.
generation to generation, and we could heal each piece of this. And Elaine says that here, that making peace with past versions of ourselves through gratitude on letting it all go as we move fearlessly in full thrusting. And I do agree with that. And
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely, I have no qualms about who I used to be or who I am now. I've done spiral work for so long with Taya, Trust Your Abundance. In fact, I'm on at 9 o'clock in Taya boot camp. This work that we're talking about, when you're dealing with something so raw
Mm-hmm.
as
Yeah, which is
emotion.
I have the perfect thing for this right now. So I'll just share. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm thank you.
Okay.
That was beautiful. Because we're in the raw and the real, and I didn't feel
Uh-huh.
like I wasn't pretending I was happy. And you know what? It feels really
Yeah.
uplifting. So with that old mammalian brain coming into the frontal cortex, making our meaning and our morals, we're using more of the brain, right? We're using it in
Hmm.
our heart. We can feel it in our heart. We can feel our body coming more alive. These are chakras, these are energies. This is all working within. So, in that traumatic self state, which is that old news, the old sores, what got
Yeah.
me here, blah, 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 that it's called an allostatic load. And it refers to the price the body pays. This is the big point for me. The price the body pays for being forced to adapt to adverse psychosocial and physical situations, and it represents either the presence of too much stress or an insufficient amount of operating for stress hormone response systems, which must be turned on and then turned off again after stressful situation is over.
Yeah, what that means is that when you're gonna be flipping a switch. When we
Mm-hmm.
go into stress response, we flip a switch.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's time to talk about the tools that we use to turn the switch off.
Mm-hmm. And then we want to
Especially
survive
this is
because ultimately
Mhm.
our goal is to survive well with others, share, build, laugh, and play, right? So that's what our
Well,
ultimate
yeah,
goal
that's
is. But the experiences that we're attached to, the behaviors as cues and the danger, the denial, and the lack of productivity has this allostatus state encouraging when others, friends, and family give empathy that others them to deal with your shame, your guilt, your anxiety, the performance in your life. We carry our own suppressed desires, becoming defensive or insecure. That is where the mindfulness practice or emotional practice, painting, creativity, nature walking, talking to spirit, relying on a close friend, these are essential things. if anything, this is the essential part of the growth of the self,
Right.
to relieve that ghost, to take away that demon and say, okay, I dealt with it. You know, to energetically shift, and not like I was visualizing for myself through this was, why do I feel like a bit of a magnet towards this stuff? Like, I just don't want to magnetize towards that, you know, but I
Well,
have.
I think it's,
You know?
but I think that a lot of this is that, so a lot of people look at, and I don't know if this is true for you. I used to see situations that were harder to maneuver
Mhm.
as being not good. Now that I know they're not my preference, but here's the deal. I always say, without your dark, you wouldn't know your spark, because it's the truth. Without experiencing the beauty of
Yeah.
our shadow, the beauty of that darkness inside of us,
Mm.
we would not be entering into, we would not be able to enter into the next phase, because
Mm.
we haven't appreciated. You can't appreciate where you're going if you can't appreciate where you are,
Oh
and
my God, yeah. That's what I
that
wrote last night right here. I wrote, that was my next thing I wrote. That's so weird. Wow.
well,
Exactly what you're
it,
saying.
yeah, well, this is something, I mean, we
Wow.
are here to transmute it and to transmute. What does that mean, to transmute it, and
Mm.
or transmute it, detune it, you know, really change that neuroplasticity set point of what's occurring in your life. And that's the reason practice and mindfulness and all of these things are so important, because
Mm.
when you're back here in reaction from this space of your brain,
Mm.
you're going to be in reptile mode. Rawr, rawr. You're in a reactive state here. It's all there is to it. And
Mm.
mindfulness practices that give us and that's fine to be there. Just, do you know how to shift up into your frontal cortex,
Mm.
your frontal lobe, okay? Or you're into where your third eye is, right up in here,
Mm.
because this is our emotional center of our brain. This is our empathy center right here. So this is not, this is, and the job is, it's just to look at this a little short hop and a skip to go from here to here. One of the simplest ways of doing that is to really just get quiet, put your hand on your heart, and
Oh. Mm.
breathe. But I'm going to give you a reset point. Reset points are like this. When you can see they're happening, let's go use something simple. Neuroplasticity. How do you change it? By
Breathing.
making it just breathing, changing it with
A
repetition.
sound like a vibration, like a hum.
Humming
It
is
starts
the
clearing
best.
it out. Yeah.
Humming is a good one, and I love humming, because humming actually is vibratory throughout your entire cellular system, and it changes everything that's going on in your body.
Mm.
Now, I had Jonathan and Andy Goldman on, who have a book called The Humming Effect, and
Oh.
they get into all of these things regarding humming and how it works with our brain waves and how to get ourselves to shift. Now, one of the things about, I was I've had many experiences when you're going to change your neuroplasticity on purpose. Change it on purpose. And what you do to
Mm.
change it on purpose, I recognize a song playing on the radio took me back to the days of whatever. And I didn't want to go
Yeah.
back to the days of whatever. And not because the memory I had associated with it was anything that brought stress up for me. It was
Yeah.
because I wanted new memories. It's because those memories are no longer serving me. It wasn't even a memory that I don't like. It was, in fact, it was probably one of my favorite. But I'm like,
Not
I'm going to
serving
do a
me. Amen. Love it.
reset, 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 reset. And what I did is I consciously became so present that I took in the environment around me. I still go back to that moment and remember this cognitively, like this was my reset moment. I made a choice and a decision to reset my
Mm.
neuroplasticity in my brain.
Wow.
I control it.
Mm. I
I
love
do. Nobody else does. We go
make the
through this
choice.
stuff you go through the stuff you go through to do this, that, what we just talked about, to do that,
Mm.
to get the opportunity to make a different choice
I love it.
every single time. if you keep, they say in AA that if you do the same thing over and over, expecting a different response, it's insanity. And dude, like it is. If you keep doing the same stuff, it's insane. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, that's how one of the ways that I handle becoming very present,
Mm-hmm.
moving,
Yeah,
shifting my
because now we're
brain.
not, our brain, like by the science of it, is gone from mammalian, as you're saying, reptilian, and we have all these other faculties. But as we look at through the intention of our soul and what is coming from the third eye chakra, if yours is open, mine is open, do you sit? I'm saying for myself, when I'm sitting in someone else's business, do I feel that? And I'm not there yet. But people are now coming into their business asking for, while I'm working, healing stones and rocks, or sometimes I'll bring my cards, and I've always been a part of that, so it's not new to me. But for them, they're coming to this candle shop, Jan's Candles and Gifts, that I do work with, and they're looking for this, right? So it's a funny segue in between daily business stresses and things that go on in the professional sense. And then you're just like, it's actually the artistic sense. Because I think I would prefer that aspect to say, my golden label is the artist. It's not necessarily business or this or that. I can do it. I have the brain power to do it, but really it's that creative and watching the details and seeing how people are coming and going and what their needs are, right? But whether or not, okay, maybe no, okay, so this was interesting. Whether I am within the path in my own direction, not okay, if I am not okay with who I am, I cannot then even become okay with helping or advising. I have to start strongly saying, this is me and I love the person who I am. And
Hmm.
that's ritualistic. It can be through bathing or stopping or breathing or
Right.
this humming, this
Hmm.
cleaning, this fasting. I find works for me. Like it's a beautiful space, that self-determined preservation, knowing, especially knowing how many nerves are attached to this in the stomach and in the different areas of the body. Like it's attached to our stomach, our gut reactions, our intestines. Like no wonder people can get sick.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, well, that is part of what's happening, though. I
Mm-hmm.
love that you're bringing that up because, you can go to Dr. Emoto's work and just use that as an example. Why is it that when we have stress responses and our body's releasing these chemicals and blah, 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 and we're in a different vibration, because it's really all about vibration.
Yeah.
Let's face it, everything is vibratory. Why are we then getting sick? Well, the water studies show he took two, let's just make it simple.
Yeah.
2 glasses of water. One says love, one says hate, freezes it, puts it under a microscope, and voila. What do you get? You get love, which it looks like snowflakes, and the cellular structure of the water held that memory. Or
Mm-hmm.
you get the hate, which had the cellular structure looking like cancer. Now, you guys
Wow.
can look
That
Dr.
was
Emoto's,
Ryan's point too. That's exactly
you could,
Ryan's point. Wow. Again, like
because
it's
you could,
crazy. It's like we're in the
yeah,
same exact playing field of existence. Like I'm just like, am I a part of you? Or are you a part of me? Or is this like, it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
right.
This
Because
clarity that I've been like in my head, brooding over, thinking, like searching for this clarity, and then I'm just listening and listening, and I'm like, wow, that's it,
Well,
perfect.
if your body's made up of water, baby, what do you think's going to happen if you're love or hate? You know what I mean? Like if
Oh
we've
my god, I
got
hate it.
self,
I toss
self,
it back and forth all the
if
time.
you've got self-hatred, but yet is coming out as projected hatred,
Mm-hmm.
it's really self-hatred, and that causes cancer. And let me tell you
Yeah.
another thing. Let's talk about projection.
Mm-hmm.
So here, I got to tell you what, from this men out there, women out there, if y'all are going to not tell the truth, let me tell you what happens. So it works like this. It works like this. We project what's going on with us. So when I started getting somebody who was jealous with a little bit of neurosis
Mm-hmm.
and literally like uh just this thing, I'm like, Where's that coming from? Because I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this isn't my stuff. Because I mean, look,
It's in here
it's
too. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you guys a big secret. Insecure people cheat. And do you know why people cheat in relationships? Because they're insecure. And why? Because they're trying to fill a void they could not fill. We are here to show them
Mm.
something. I deal with these people that can't be honest because I am their mirror.
Yeah.
So when they're projecting to me these things, it's like I then have a moment of saying, am I going to own that it's mine? Or am I going to recognize that this is a projection? And am I going to recognize that there's obviously a conversation that needs to be had that has
Hmm.
nothing to do with me? You see, this is people project what's going on inside of them. What has happened is we don't spend enough time actively hearing, actively listening. If you actively listen to another person, they're going to tell you what's real. Well, they're going to tell you what's actually going on, but you have to actively be willing to do this. What is real for them right now?
What I
What?
want to ask you, Debbie, what is real for you too? So
Mhm.
as I'm, kind of swallowing the worm on this, I feel if it's real for you and I'm letting it become real for me, for me, my lesson in mindfulness this week was in class actually was assertion, like that power to go in the room and say, okay, this is what I feel and think without cowering or feeling like I'm overwhelming somebody, right? Learn parental forces
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
leave
Mhm.
me in the park my whole life. But reality strikes in that is my perception, my body's reaction, my integration. So I will work on that now. I will, because I have such a loving teacher who has done lots to try to, help me. I felt it. I had to feel it. I had to own it. I had to shed tears over it. I really had to shed tears over it. And
Are you
yeah, and
talking
it's
about
probably still the lesson, the actual healing. So the process, in the sense, like some people think it's a A to B. I don't think it's A, B to C. I think it's like this integrative A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, all the way through. When you're finished, your karma. So whatever you picked up on childhood, teenage years, adulthood, to become into, to shed the shell into the new
Mhm.
self, means that those interactive communication skills need to be installed by you, and you do it by creatively figuring, how could I become a better communicator, because now I know what my weaknesses are. Perfect, like it's mindfulness therapy again. And
it's all it all really is. And I love that you brought this up because what is real for me may not be real for you. It may not be real
yeah.
for the other person that I'm
Hmm.
talking about. Can I accept that's their reality? It doesn't need to be mine, and I don't need to agree, but that is what's real for them. When they say to me, I'm feeling like you aren't showing up in these
Yeah.
ways, it's not for me to give excuses. It's for me to say what I'm hearing you say is you don't feel this, blah, 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 blah. The bottom line is we do things to get our needs met.
Hmm.
We
Mm.
do think, do you know what your needs are? Do you know how
Mm.
to express them? Do you know how to
Mm.
say, so what comes up for me is this was an opportunity, a big opportunity to get very clear on my needs, express them, and express what is not acceptable to me and talk about agreements. What I also know is that these opportunities come up so that we can also see, is there anything left inside of me? Like, is there anything left?
Is there any spark left? Is it
Well,
worth really furthering?
no, is there any of that
Oh,
stuff that needs to
yeah, the
come up
residue,
for
is
the
it
bottom?
over? Am I
The
allowing?
residue. And
But then
this
I'm
was some
thinking, am
dust.
I letting it be over? Like, I think like that was my
Yeah.
point with this A to Z instead of ABC, is that it's going to be a finality for you. So maybe package it and put it together in a scrapbook and say, okay, I see it like when I wrote daily spiritual backpacking as like a step-by-step process that we have to commit. And it isn't just 15 minutes. It starts off as 15 minutes. Then it's going to
Mm-hmm.
look like a 45-minute gap. Then it's going to look like a 2-hour gap. Finally, I'm by the waterfall and I'm just like, oh, I can hear it, right? No one else could hear it, but that was
Yeah.
me. So it's actually like you have to align that it's going to be over, maybe ceremonially bless it, maybe choose a time of year. Like we choose marriages and we choose business contracts and we choose all these different sign your name here, right? Why can't we choose our karmatic destiny and say, okay, my work is done. There was a gentleman I was listening to on Facebook who is 343, and he brings in the machine elves, and he has some really interesting ideas. And he was saying that basically the planet only needs to get to people existing for one another at 51% level. That just threw me right for a loop. I was like, geez, that's nothing. I'm over here at 85 and I'm exhausted. I'm going to slow down. Like, why can't we just naturally be behaving like this with one another?
Well,
Caring, you know?
I love this, but I don't think that's why we're here. I think we're here for our soul expansion. And
Mm,
I love every aspect. Look, I've been through some real serious dark stuff.
mm-hmm,
I mean, real insane. 53 years old. I've got
mm-hmm,
tons. I've got, there's a lot of trauma. There was a
uh-huh,
lot of trauma held in this body and it's being released
mm-hmm,
every day. Things are coming out and unfolding. It's those set points again. Reset. We're here to do this. We're here. We're not here to bring our planet into harmony. We are here to be the harmony. We are here
mm-hmm.
to each of us to mind our own business.
Business. Yeah. But in the same regard, though, I mean,
Mind your own vibration.
your
That's
vibration. But when, yeah, so then I
that's
guess
it.
part of my thing would be to start choosing, my vibe, my tribe, but more my vibe, I think, because I prefer independence. But I really feel that idea, that invite, that it's that simple, that we can all kind of, get together with that concept. If it's the 144,000, if it's your network meets this network, and it all sort of networks in energetic sense, and boom, past life karmas, everything is resolved, and yeah, we're in a higher dimension. I would prefer that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. But you're gonna be when you croak.
I want it
You
now,
know,
though.
that's
I
it.
want to be
Uh,
in Earth as a higher dimensional frequency, longer lifespans,
Well, we didn't
that.
come here for but that's the thing. We didn't come here to do that. We came here to be part of the evolution, part of evolution that's been happening for millions of years. What happens is that if we aren't content with the way it is now, we can't get to the point where we're content with it in the future. This comes back down to an acceptance of our lives and of the planet and of the world and of where it's at, and to quit looking at our world like it's fucked up and broken. It's not. What it is what it's supposed to be for our natural evolution. And the only job I've got is to appreciate it. Acceptance is hard. Acceptance is hard because then you have to be willing to sit with it and say, well, lose the need to be right, wrong, any of that, and just be an observation of it, that it really is the way it's supposed to be.
Kind
My
of park in
humanness,
neutral, like just stay in neutral.
stay in neutral. Staying in neutral coast, it just keeps you from the eyes of source when you are observing. When you're in meditation, you're not in your body, you're observing, right? You've
Mm,
got this whole, you're not your body, you're observing. And
mm.
what happens is that we want that blissful state, and we think that these things all need to happen to make that blissful state happen. And I'm here to tell y'all
It ain't gonna be
that's not
ultra.
it's not going to be like that. It's
Mm.
I choose bliss even in the middle of shit. Okay? Like I
I love
I'm
it.
I'm driving over and this was a few days ago, and I'm driving over there and I'm thinking to myself, in the past, my whole body from top to bottom would have been racked in
Mm.
nerves and anxiety.
Oh,
I
wow.
Not this time. My body was peaceful. I
Mm.
was serene. I was blissful. And what happened was is I was able to create a safe enough environment
Mm.
for the truth to be told.
Yeah.
People don't tell the truth because they don't feel safe.
It does feel
People
very
don't
acceptable. That does for sure.
yeah, you, blissfulness comes because you choose to be lifted up. You're choosing not to react, but rather respond. The part of our
Mm.
brain that reacts is the I they said it the water boy,
I have a,
ABBA gooba blah blah blah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
It
they
really
that
has something like that.
but it's all really it's a real
And blah,
thing.
blah, blah, blah,
Like
blah.
yeah, it's the ABBA blah 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 right
Yeah.
here, and it really does growl. It's a trip. But
Yeah.
anyway, we have an opportunity to create safety with people. Let me tell you, I was faced with this human moment of if I really care about somebody and I see that they're lying,
Mm.
do I want to just judge them or do I really want to have open connection and find out why they're hurting so much that they need
Mm.
to do that?
Well, it's both.
And
Yeah. You want to
right,
be
and
open, but they may not be open
so
to being open. So,
so that's why I chose to go over to handle it with love. And did I do it perfectly? Of course not, because I'm perfectly human. But what I can tell you is that the next time that somebody's doing something,
mm-hmm.
it's not because they're malicious, evil, and horrible.
Mm.
It's because they have something inside of them. They've got some need
Mm.
that's not getting met. They're feeling not worthy and not deserving. So rather than judging them and shaming them for lying to you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
I'm there
I
with you completely. I'm right there with you.
I
Although
it's
I'm gonna admit, I lost my cool. So,
yeah, I lost I did too when I knew that the full truths weren't being told. That at
yeah,
some point I like got a little bit, but really it was more about the end result was my decision is that we and you and the world were all worth connection and we are all
yeah.
seeking love. We're here, like Ram Dass says, to walk each other home.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's nice.
And Ram Dass was a powerful being on this planet.
Hmm.
Our attachments to outcomes are you said it earlier.
Expectations,
uh,
fears.
Those
Can
are
you just
all yeah.
maybe talk, if you wouldn't mind, because you're so good with the wheel and put it up. The where are you on the emotional wheel? I really want to do a bit of that if we have time.
We have about 2 minutes. I don't think I have it, but let me look and see
I
if I
sent it
have.
to the same email to you again. I thought we had time for
Oh,
it. Or
go ahead
no?
and talk about the emotional will, and I'll bring it up.
Okay, so in that self attack versus self love state, so if you're self attacking or self loving, maybe that's also going to be complicating your relation, right? You personally
Hmm.
are self attacking and they're attacking or they're not doing their stuff. It's not going to be a good, full, loving experience or a good anything, maybe humor. What good is going to come of it? What goodness, right? Um, when social engagement changes, by those blocks because of self attack. That's the panic, the rage, envy, greed, pride, shame. We get that repressed or hyper arousal freeze state. Those are all those lower dimensional frequencies that would be looking on this chart. Imagine just like that joy place, like you said, and that internalized space, that making time for yourself by backpacking daily with oneself. Like that would be ultimately the goal. And then I think that growing assertive for me was my thing. Like, how am I going to become assertive in order to handle these situations? How do I make my presence known? right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's a work. I think that's not a, you know, here I am, it's all good. It's like I'm walking into that again and I'm cognizant,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, on this scale, so
Okay.
what tool on this scale? At the very bottom, you have grief and you have death, and at the very top, you've got joy, bliss, and all those things. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fact is that if you are down this spiral, there's a couple things you can do. You can join Taya Boot Camp and go watch me in a minute, and we'll talk about it.
I love it.
You can simply just go to the Taya group, and we can watch. But
Mm,
what I'm going to tell you is that in a short uh, time, all you got to do, get curious with yourself, what's real for you. Can you accept it? And if you can accept it, can you get into radical acceptance and appreciation for it?
yeah.
Radical acceptance and appreciation will start bringing you up the spiral. If you can't get into radical appreciation and acceptance over the situation, then
Mm-hmm.
it might just be that you need a hack. It could be music, it could be something, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe you need to sit with what you're feeling and let it come out, cry it out, and release it out, and then look at the possibility
Yeah.
of being accepting. So that's all we've got for today, you guys. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
jumping off a little bit
That was
early,
great.
but
I'm so
Nicole,
appreciative
what
of
else do you
you.
have? What
Deb.
else do you have?
Well, like there's a just it's just fun. I mean, it's like I think I think that take that big step. That even though we will see injustice in the world and be a part of things, that we can't let it consume our light. You know,
Yeah,
I think I'm feeling this, and I know by taking more personal time to do exercise, spiritual exercise, not physical exercise, that I probably will benefit most to transition into radical acceptance. Because I think I love the word radical. So I'd like to work with radical over holding on and wondering and soothing it and let's just get rid of it, right? Let's get happy and get rid of it.
be a radical badass, man. It was Scott
Let's
Thomas,
do the t shirt, radical badass.
radical badass. Seriously, I'll tell you all, Scott Thomas, who was Love Coach Academy, was my very first love coach.
Yeah.
And then I went into Taya boot camp after that. Now I'm finishing my degree in communication.
Mm-hmm.
Bec- Here's why communication's the hardest thing for me, even though I'm great at it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. I don't care how many years that I can put behind myself, y'all. I can't tell you how important it is
Mm,
to care
lovely.
to care to care about yourself enough to start understanding what your own needs are
Mm-hmm.
and what it is, how important you are. So what came out of this whole situation? The need to remind each other how beautiful you are. The need for me to make a list of all the reasons that this person was in my life and why I appreciated this person being in my life. All the reasons I appreciate myself. And let me give you all a secret.
Mm,
You've seen me rock your spark before.
mm-hmm.
I got to run. But remember this,
Aw,
everything you see in me is you
yeah.
because you'd have no point of reference, Nicole. Nobody would.
No, I know. And that's the most beautiful part. Thank you so much for that.
So leave everybody with a quickie and we're going to roll off.
Quickie, I'm thankful and grateful for all our human experiences and willing to watch everyone's soul just perfectly expand into the wonderful beings they truly are. Deeply feel that for humanity and for others. Thank you.
I love it. You are beautiful. I love you. We'll see you guys next week. We'll be back. And Nicole, I will talk to you in a little while. Bye.